Yeah.
She doesn't like that your belly's out.
Oh, you want me to zip it up?
You're so braggy. It's so cute.
It's for you, P.
Court loves being pregnant. She loves it, loves it.
Is it too much, P?
No, she just shows it every single morning.
Oh my God.
On the surface, Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker look like the definition of a Hollywood love story: candlelit proposals on Malibu beaches, luxury weddings in Italy, and photo spreads dripping with Dolce & Gabbana perfection. The world calls them Kravis, two soulmates who finally found each other after years of mistiming and separate heartbreaks. But behind those glossy Instagram posts and coordinated outfits, there's a silence that feels heavier than any paparazzi flash. A silence filled with tension, confusion, and three young hearts caught between two men. Because while Kourtney Kardashian is publicly glowing, privately her children, Mason Disick, Penelope Disick, and Rain Disick are struggling to adjust to their mother's new husband. Insiders whisper that Travis Barker walked into this family thinking love alone could blend everyone together. But love doesn't erase history. And in this house, history has a name: Scott Disick. For more than a decade, Scott Disick wasn't just a partner. He was family. He raised Mason, Penelope, and Rain on camera, showing up through chaos, heartbreak, and recovery. Fans watched birthday parties, vacations, and emotional breakdowns unfold on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and through it all, one truth stayed unshaken: Scott Disick was always dad. So when Travis Barker stepped into that picture, the unspoken question became, can there ever really be room for two fathers? To Mason Disick, the oldest, that question feels personal. He grew up idolizing his dad's humor and energy. So seeing Travis Barker, with his tattoos, his punk rock bravado, and his constant presence beside Kourtney, feels less like love and more like invasion. Sources claim Mason often keeps his distance when Travis is around, skipping filming days, staying off camera, and letting silence say what words can't. Penelope, affectionately called P, is even more vocal. Fans have caught her subtle eye rolls, TikTok captions, and quiet disapproval every time Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker turn up the PDA. She adored the bond between her parents. She's still that little girl who ran to Scott Disick after every argument. Watching her mom's new husband kiss and cling for cameras feels more like a reminder of loss than a sign of happiness. Then there's Rain Disick, outspoken, wild, and completely unfiltered. Insiders say Rain blurts out what everyone else is too polite to say: Scott Disick is my dad. For Kourtney Kardashian, that sentence cuts deep. She's proud of her marriage, but every time Rain says it, she's reminded that her love story with Travis Barker comes at an emotional cost. Behind the family's curated images, the cracks are widening. Travis Barker genuinely tries. He joins family vacations, holds Rain's hand in public, chats with Penelope, jokes with Mason, but insiders claim that inside the Calabasas home, things are tense. His energy is intense, impulsive. Ellen, and 2-3 kids who grew up around calm, sarcastic Scott Disick, that energy feels foreign. Travis Barker showers them with gifts and affection, but to them, it reads as trying too hard. And while Kourtney Kardashian may be lost in her fairy tale, her children are watching from the sidelines, silently comparing every new moment to the world they once knew. A world where Scott Disick cracked jokes at breakfast and knew how to make them laugh without a camera rolling. No amount of luxury can blur that contrast. The Italian villas, the coordinated outfits, the romantic captions, they all exist in the same universe where Mason Disick refuses to appear in photos, where Penelope Disick posts moody TikToks, and where Rain Disick keeps repeating, "That's not my dad." It's not that these children dislike Travis Barker, it's that they're loyal to Scott Disick. And loyalty is something the Kardashian empire can't rebrand or monetize. Still, Kourtney Kardashian keeps smiling, convinced that time will heal everything. Maybe she believes love can rewrite memories. Maybe she thinks that if Travis Barker stays long enough, the kids will see his heart. But healing isn't about waiting, it's about acceptance. And right now, Mason, Penelope, and Rain are still living in the shadow of their father's heartbreak. Behind the scenes, even Scott Disick feels the fracture. He's dated, he's partied, he's tried to move on, but insiders say watching Kourtney Kardashian find forever with Travis Barker hit harder than anyone realizes. On earlier Kardashian episodes, he confessed, "It feels like I lost my best friend." That pain didn't stay hidden. It bled into how he parents, how he speaks, how he shows up. So when his children sense tension, it's not imagination, it's inheritance. They feel their dad's sadness and carry it into every interaction with Travis Barker. And in that invisible tug-of-war, no one wins. The question that haunts fans now is simple, but sharp. Can Kourtney Kardashian have it all? The husband she loves and the family she built? Or will the name Scott Disick forever echo through every room of her new marriage? A reminder that love might heal hearts but never erases history. As the cameras keep rolling and social media stays obsessed with every post, Kourtney Kardashian tries to convince the world, and maybe herself, that everything is fine. The fairy tale is still alive. The kids are adjusting. The love is stronger than ever. But behind the designer curtains and matching leather outfits, that perfect image keeps slipping. Because no matter how many times Kourtney Kardashian smiles for the camera, the distance between Travis Barker and her children grows wider. For Travis Barker, this love story was supposed to be redemption. After surviving near-death experiences, heartbreak, and chaos, he finally found his peace with Kourtney Kardashian. He wanted this family, not just her, but her world, her kids, her home. He showed up to every game, every dinner, every family vacation. He didn't just want to be there, he wanted to belong. But belonging isn't something you buy or force. It's something you earn slowly, painfully, with patience. And that's the one thing Travis Barker doesn't do well. Mason Disick, now a teenager, has learned to protect his boundaries. Insiders say Mason avoids public events when Travis Barker is present. He doesn't post, doesn't pose, and doesn't pretend. In family settings, his silence says everything, that no matter how much time passes, Scott Disick will always be his anchor. Kourtney Kardashian may have moved forward, but Mason Disick hasn't followed. He still gravitates toward his dad's humor, his energy, his comfort. Penelope Disick, on the other hand, wears her heart on her sleeve. She doesn't hide her discomfort. Fans have caught her subtle shade online, those TikTok captions about people changing too much and missing the old days. Every post, every sigh, feels like a cry from a daughter watching her mother become someone she barely recognizes. Penelope was always close to Scott Disick, a true daddy's girl, and now, seeing her mom's world revolve around Travis Barker and endless PD, it's not rebellion, it's heartbreak. Then there's Rain Disick, the youngest, whose innocence makes him the most honest. When he says, "Scott Disick is my dad," it isn't meant to wound, it's meant to remind. He's reminding Kourtney Kardashian that her children's love for their father is not something that fades just because she found new happiness. And for Travis Barker, every one of those moments stings, because no matter how kind or patient he is, every smile, every hug, every joke comes with the same invisible wall. He's not Scott Disick. Behind closed doors, Kourtney Kardashian feels the pull. On one hand, she's finally found a love that makes her feel adored, celebrated, and seen. On the other, she's watching the quiet rebellion of her children, who seem to drift further every time Travis Barker walks into the room. It's not that they're disrespectful, they're just distant, detached. It's the kind of emotional coldness that can melt any fairy tale facade. And then there's Scott Disick, the ghost that never really left. He doesn't have to say a word, his presence speaks for itself. Scott Disick is still showing up: the school pickups, the vacations, the jokes that make the kids laugh until they can't breathe. He's the dad who knows which kid hates the crust on their sandwich and which one still sleeps with the lights on. He may not have the marriage or the headlines, but he has what Travis Barker can't touch: history. Insiders say Scott Disick never badmouths Travis Barker directly, but the tension is there. It's in the glances, in the silence, in the subtle reminders to his kids that dad's always here. For Kourtney Kardashian, that's the hardest part, knowing her children's loyalty belongs to a man she's no longer with. It's not jealousy, it's grief. A different kind of grief, mourning a version of her family that no longer exists, even as she tries to build a new one. Even the rest of the Kardashian family feels it. Kim Kardashian has tried to step in, suggesting therapy and blended family bonding, while Khloe Kardashian reportedly fears that Scott Disick's ongoing presence will always cast a shadow over Travis Barker. And Kris Jenner, ever the strategist, is worried less about feelings and more about optics. To her, it's not just a family issue, it's a brand issue. How do you market a perfect couple when half the audience is rooting for the ex? Meanwhile, fans online are picking sides like it's a reality TV finale. Team Scott Disick comments flood TikTok, while others defend Travis Barker, calling him genuine, devoted, misunderstood. But everyone agrees on one thing: Kourtney Kardashian's kids aren't pretending for anyone, whether it's Mason's silence, Penelope's shade, or Rain's blunt honesty. Their feelings are real, and they're not hiding them. Their feelings are real, and they're not hiding them. And that's what makes this story so raw. It's not about fame or money. It's about what happens when love collides with loyalty, when new happiness meets old bonds. Kourtney Kardashian may have the fairy tale wedding, but fairy tales don't raise children. Reality does. And reality is messy. In quiet moments, away from cameras, sources say Kourtney Kardashian sometimes wonders if her love story with Travis Barker came too late. Not for her, but for her children. If she had met him before the heartbreak, before the fame, before Scott Disick, maybe things would have been easier. But life doesn't give do-overs. And now, all she can do is balance two worlds: the love she's found and the love her children can't let go of. So, will Mason Disick, Penelope Disick, and Rain Disick ever truly accept Travis Barker? Or will the ghost of Scott Disick continue to live in every family photo, every awkward dinner, every quiet sigh? Only time will tell. But one thing's clear: this isn't a story of villains and victims. It's a story of hearts learning to heal in different directions. Because no matter how glamorous the wedding, how beautiful the house, or how perfect the caption, the Kardashian-Barker love story will always have a third name written between the lines. Scott Disick, the father, the memory, the man who refuses to fade. And maybe that's what makes this story so painfully human. Because love doesn't always erase the past. Sometimes, it just teaches you how to live with it.